one man with one vision, and that's to be the greatest UFC fighter ever. Alexander Volkanovski is one heck of a fighter. It's not a spoiler, but no one seems too tough for this Australian bad boy. He pounds every and any opponent like it's nothing. But here's the big catch. Did you know Alexander Volkanovski didn't always have the dream to become a UFC fighter? I bet you didn't, and that's exactly what makes this guy so unique. I've been dying to talk to you about Alexander Volkanovski's story because of how intriguing it is. What's even more intriguing is the fabulous lifestyle and salary he's earned from fighting. This man is a visionary, a beast, a lethal fighter, and you know what? Let's just jump straight into the video. Alexander Volkanovski was born on the 29th of September 1988 in Shell Harbour, New South Wales. He started training in Greco-Roman wrestling right from a young age, and he claimed his first national title at 12. But at the age of 14, he became a rugby player. The good news is, he was really good. He won the Mick Cronin Medal in 2010 as the league's best player. He also helped his team, the Warilla Gorillas, win the Premiership in 2011 and won the Man of the Match award at the finals. It was like everything he touched turned to gold. However, at the age of 23, Alexander left the rugby league and started a professional career in mixed martial arts. It was a surprising move because his rugby career was going well, but Alexander had always been a fan of the UFC. He watched lots of UFC tapes and pay-per-view events when he was much younger. His move into the multifaceted world of mixed martial arts is one of the best decisions of his life. He started with some amateur fights in MMA. He weighed a lot after quitting rugby, so he had to fight in the middleweight division. After going 4 fights without a loss, he decided to go pro. He fought under many promotions between 2012 and 2016. Alexander was great in MMA. His skills were out of this world. He was so good, I bet he could knock down any opponent with one hand tied behind his back. He fought in the middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, and finally the featherweight divisions. He also claimed the specific Extreme Combat title and 2 Australian fighting featherweight titles during his time outside the UFC. Alexander was on a 13-1 record with a 10-fight win streak in MMA. I don't know if you're as hyped as I am because this guy is no doubt a wrecking machine. He decided to join the big boys in the UFC by making his promotional debut on the 26th of November 2016. Trust me, when I say no one was ready for Alexander Volkanovski in the UFC, there wasn't as much hype on him like you'd expect for someone that brutal in the octagon though. But Alexander was ready. In fact, he was fully charged to win every fight. Before we talk about his UFC career, kindly scroll down, give us a thumbs up, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of our awesome videos. Alexander started in the lightweight division with his first fight against Yusuke Kasua in the UFC Fight Night 101. He increased his win streak to 11 by knocking Kasua out in the second round. In the post-match conference, he announced he'd be moving to the featherweight division for his next fight. He won his next 2 fights under the featherweight division and was to face Jeremy Kennedy at UFC 221 on the 11th of February 2018. Okay guys, this is where things get real. Kennedy was on an 11-fight win streak while Alexander was on a 13-fight win streak. The build-up to this fight was insane. This was going to be the biggest fight of their lives, but Kennedy was no match for Alexander. Alexander smothered Kennedy in the second round by dishing out lethal forearm strikes to his body. He beat Kennedy via TKO in the same round. At this point, Alexander wasn't just undefeated in the UFC, he became a treat to the featherweight division. He went head-to-head with Darren Elkins on the 14th of July 2018 and won via unanimous decision. This guy was tough, but he had another obstacle to overcome, the veteran Chad Mendes. Chad is another insanely good fighter. This guy breaks down his opponents without a flinch. Any sane man who steps into the octagon against him should be prepared for the worst. This was just one of those fights that remind you why you love the UFC. It was everything you would expect. But Alexander showed he was no loser. He beat Chad with multi-dimensional attack combos that knocked him out completely. Alexander beat Chad via TKO in the second round. Now, Alexander Volkanovski had come so far at this point. He was obviously ready for a title shot, but former featherweight champion Jose Aldo was determined to put down his ego by challenging him to a fight. However, Alexander showed his fans why he's one of the greatest fighters in the UFC. He beat Jose via unanimous decision. One thing I liked about this fight was the show of sportsmanship between the two after the fight. They both hugged it out with no grudges. It was really professional. Finally, Alexander got a shot at UFC Gold. Alexander was slated to fight Max Holloway on the 14th of December 2019 for the UFC Featherweight Championship. The fight was close, with both men putting their bodies on the line to take the title home. Yet again, Alexander showed he was no match for any fighter in the featherweight division. He won the fight by unanimous decision again. From a Greco-Roman wrestler to a semi-pro rugby player, and now to a UFC champion, Alexander Volkanovski was at the top of his UFC career. Max Holloway, on the other hand, wasn't ready to go down just like that. He requested a rematch against Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 251. Man, this fight brought more controversies than the actual outcome. Alexander was given the win by split decision, but 18 out of 27 media outlets gave the win to Max, including UFC president himself, Dana White. Alexander might have been lucky to escape with the title at this one, but his next title defense against Brian Ortega was the biggest fight of his career. You need to understand the level of hype that surrounded this fight. With a lot of trash talking from both men, it was impossible to tell if either of them would leave the octagon alive. It was one of the best title defenses I have ever seen in my life. Alexander was throwing skills no one had ever seen before. It was pure wizardry. Ortega got him in submission like no man on earth would normally break out from. But Alexander broke out and gave him a straight elbow to the face of Ortega. Both men had fought so hard, they dripped with blood at the end of the fight. And it was a close one, but Alexander won the fight and retained his championship. Till today, that fight is still one of the most talked about in all of combat sports. Alexander Volkanovski has made history and a lot of cash from fighting. So let's talk about that. Before we go there, if you're a new subscriber to our channel, go comment "I subbed" in the comments below and earn a chance to get a free shout out in our monthly shout out contest. So go on, comment "I sub" now and earn yourself a free shout out. Alexander earned $22,500 in his first UFC fight. He started earning six figures after he beat Elkins back in July 2018, and he got a whopping $119 after that fight. His biggest payout was his recent title defense against Ortega, where he earned $492,000. He has a total UFC career earnings of $1,225,000 and a total net worth of $1,890,000. He enjoys this wonderful cash with his wife Emmy and their two beautiful daughters Ariana and Ali. With 20 straight wins in his career, I'm forced to ask, is there any man that can defeat Alexander and break his record? Let's wait and see. Also, what are your thoughts on the Max Holloway rematch against Alexander? Who was your winner? Let us know in the comments section down below. And thanks for staying with us till the end. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to click on this next action-packed video. And bye for now.